Hello, hello. Today I'm going to make a video about a new lens I bought. A lens I bought secondhand in a shop on our vacation. We have these shops where people can buy a shelf and then they sell stuff, and there's people in the shop selling that for them on a commission basis. And I was just walking around. I often go to places like that to look for old gear. And I found this lens, 100mm F2.5, and it's a manual focus lens. Of course, it's a vintage lens. But to my great surprise, and to your great surprise perhaps, this is not a Nikon lens. It is in fact a MD Tele Rocker 100mm 2.5 with a 55mm thread. Manual focus, and it's got a very long focus throw. I think about, well, maybe 300 degrees all the way around. Focuses from 1 meter to infinity, so not very close. And it's only got 6 aperture blades, so it's probably going to be so that when I go out testing it, that the bokeh is probably going to be quite, well, distinct. Let's put it like that, when you stop it down from 2.5. The aperture goes from 2.5 to f22, and I've adapted it to this Z7 with the FTC adapter first, then the MD to Nikon F mount, and then the lens here. So if you want to see the lens itself, it's a small lens. This is a 100mm lens. It's very small, very compact. It's made between 1978 and 1980, which is one of the later versions of the MD Tele Rocker lenses. It should have, as I've been able to read, a slightly better coating than the MC version, and also I don't remember if the MD1, this is an MD2, but I don't remember if the MD1 had a worse coating than this, but it should be minimal. Nevertheless, you know how it is with old vintage lenses. They sometimes lack contrast. They sometimes are prone to flare, and I expect this one to be, though we'll have to wait and see how it performs out there. 6 elements in 6 groups, as I remember it, as I recall it. So it'll be nice to go out and test that, which is what I'm going to do now, and then I'll get back to you, show you some pictures, and also at the end of the video I'm going to tell you something, which is the price. If the images turned out to be extremely good, I got this at an extremely cheap price, also according to the prices they sell on eBay for about $150, around, well, somewhere between 10 to 15 pounds. I can tell you that I did not pay that much for this one. I think I may have been a bit lucky, or the one selling it didn't know what to charge for it, but I'll get back to you on that one. So I'm going out to test it. See you in a bit. So we're back at the office, and let's take a look at the pictures. But first I'm looking at sharpness. This rose is, I focused on the drops. It's okay, a nice blurry background, and another rose focused on the little drop on the top right of the leaf. And this one is just directly to the center of this flower. I believe those pictures are quite sharp, and I kind of like that, so that's not too bad. This is focused on the seagull there. I believe it's at f8 on a tripod, and I focused on the dock in the foreground there. But there's a funny thing about this, because if you notice the curvature of the horizon, that looks quite strange, and I don't quite know why, but it must be some kind of distortion. Though it's in a 100mm lens, it shouldn't be. But yeah, it's a strange way, because it's definitely not the curvature of the Earth. The next two images are of some ships, and especially on the first one, if you zoom in there, which I'm going to do now, you can clearly see that this is sharp, even on that far distance, and with a bit of haze in the water. I'm pretty impressed, in fact. Next one, backlit people on the pier. No problems whatsoever, no flare, no nothing. And then there's a funny thing about these rocks. I've got two pictures of rocks here. The first one is quite blurry, in fact. I don't know if it's because of the distance or whatever. I think I'm about 2 to 3 meters away from that. And it shouldn't be blurry, but it is anyway. But the next one seems a bit sharper, but still not amazing. So maybe that's something to take into consideration, keeping a bit more distance that you probably would usually do. And then there's the just a few more shots of the coastline there. A beautiful place. Then I took a look at the bokeh, which I talked about earlier in this video, and as you can see, the first ones at 2.5 are round, but already from f4 and up, you can clearly see those aperture blades getting these hexagon-like shapes, which, well, that's pretty natural. You see that in a lot of movies as well, because they also have 6 aperture plates in all those cinema lenses, especially from older films. I don't think you can, you can't trust those like flare-like stuff that's in those shots there. I don't believe that's the true characteristic of the lens. I think it's just because of the there's some light shade, something on the lamp that makes those. So that's more a question of how the lamp looks than it is a problem with the lens itself. So that's it. I've tested this at various apertures. I put them on the screen so you can see which apertures they are. It's a sharp lens. It's a sharp from 2.5 and well, at least up to f11. I didn't go much beyond that, because I know that at f16 and f22 it's probably going to be a bit blurry. But a funny thing you could see on those bokeh balls, it seems to me that there's some focus creeping. When you change the aperture, the focus kind of changes. So that's a bit annoying, especially for video. If you want to go from, let's say you are following a person and the person is going from a bright area into a darker area, you need to change the aperture, but you also need to change the focus. And that's pretty annoying if he's walking this way. It should be approximately the same if you follow him on a slide or anything like that, and this person goes from a dark area to a bright area, you need to change the aperture, but then the focus misses. But that's a small thing. I don't think I'm going to make that kind of shots with that lens. I'm probably going to use an autofocus lens for that, so it doesn't really matter. And for the price, well, I made a mistake in the beginning. I told you the price was I think I said 10 or 15 pounds. That's pretty much a lie. Of course it is. It's more like 80 pounds. 80 to somewhere between 65 and 85 pounds. I've seen them sold on eBay, those lenses. But what I paid was 99 Danish kroner, which is, well, let's just say 100 Danish. And that is approximately 12 pounds. So I made a real bargain there. In that should be around 20, no, yeah, 20, no, $15. Yeah, $15. But they sell on eBay for 150, so up to 150. So that's pretty amazing. I'm blown away by this, and there's nothing wrong with that lens. Yeah, it's just a nice lens. So what I'm going to do now, I need to decide whether I want to keep it or not. That depends. I think I'm going to evaluate some of my landscape shots, which, you know, I'm messing around with, and see if this focal length is enough, or I just need that 70 to 200 to go out there. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll finish it off with some more footage, in fact, from the beach, so you can see, because everything you've seen, all the B-roll you've seen, except for the one with the lens, but the B-roll you've seen from the nature is actually done with that lens as well. And well, yeah, it's amazing, especially at that price. It's quite awesome, in fact. So, yeah, hope you enjoy, and hope to see you next week. Bye.